Hi, my name's Drew, and today in Lightwave Modeler we're going to be making a sphere. Open up Modeler. If you follow my tutorial, just click Continue, and on the left hand side choose the Ball tool. In the top left view, click in the middle and drag, and it makes a circle. The reason we click in the middle is because when you're making a sphere, the first place you click when you're making your geometry is where it sets the center point. Now we have our circle. In the perspective, or the right or the back view, click anywhere you like to make your sphere. If you wish to change the size of the dimensions, click on one of the orange handles and drag it about, and you can change the shape and size of your sphere. And if you click in the middle, you can change the position of your sphere. When you're finished, hit space, and there you are, all done. Let's get rid of that and do it a different way. We'll click on the box tool, and this time push N on the keyboard, and that brings up our numeric control panel. Now the sides in the numeric control panel is the number of lines from pole to pole on your sphere. So if I change it to 5, there we are. We now have 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lines from pole to pole. If I change it to 30, now there's 30 lines from pole to pole. We'll change that back down to 24. The segments is the number of slices between the poles. So if I change the number of segments here to say 3, we now have 3 slices. There's 1, 2, 3 slices between the poles. If I change that up to 50, now I have 50 slices between the poles. Let's put this back down to 12. Ooh, and let's center up on the very middle. There we go. Now the radius, of course, can be set numerically. We'll set those all to 3. That's one type of sphere. Now at the top you'll notice there's 2 other controls. There's type and there's axis. Now if we're on globe, I can change the axis from Y, which is the default, which puts the poles on the Y axis, to X, which puts the poles of the sphere on the X axis, or Z, which puts the poles on the Z axis. Put those back to Y. Or we can choose the type, which is tessellation, and that changes it to this kind of ball. Now, changing the segment number on this changes how the ball appears, obviously. The more segments, the smoother it looks, and the more geometry added. We'll change that back down to 4. The reason I've made sure this is not too high is with the Discovery edition of Lightwave, you can't have more than 400 points in any layer. So if I make this too high and then try to edit it, Lightwave will get upset and I won't be able to do anything and I'll have to get rid of it and start again. So hit space when we're finished, and that's another way to make a sphere. Okay, we'll get rid of this. Over in the primitives over here, there are some other primitive types. There's a disk, which makes a column, like this. And if I push N, as with the sphere, I can change the settings. Oh, you'll notice it seems to have disappeared. It hasn't actually disappeared. What's happened is, this setting is 12 meters and not millimeters. If I change that to millimeters, it'll jump right back into my view. That's an important thing to remember. Make sure that your sizing is viewable within your viewport. If I change it the top and bottom to too high, it'll disappear from my viewport and I'll have to zoom all the way out to find it. So that's a disk. Get rid of that. We have a cone. Start with a circle, create a point, and as you can see in the numeric panel there are lots of different options for that. We also have a capsule. A capsule looks like that. Well, this is what's happened. I've got too many points in the layer and now Lightwave doesn't like it. So let's see what we can do about this. File, close object, don't save, I don't care. So Toroid. Okay, that's a torus or a toroid. What are they? Unit primitives. Unit primitives are actually all the ones we've just done in 1 meter sizes. Oh, too many primitives again. So watch what happens if we try and just delete them. It won't even let me do that, so I have to go up here, close the object, don't save it to get rid of it. Unit primitives. A unit box. It's 1 meter by 1 meter by 1 meter. Let's leave that there actually, I'll just move it out of the way. Go a unit ball. A 1 meter ball. A unit plane. A 1 meter plane. A unit disc. 1 meter by 1 meter. And a unit cone. 1 meter, 1 meter, 1 meter. That's all the different unit primitives Lightwave Modeler has. Now, hopefully, I haven't got too many things in there. There are some more primitives here. We have gears. Just use the defaults, and there you are. A gear. What other primitives are there? Gears gives you different types of options, and there we are, there's a different type of gear. A gemstone. Pretty, looks like a diamond. A equilateral triangle. It's one-dimensional. A wedge. There's a wedge. A super quadratic tool. Seems to make a torus of some sort. Oh, that's interesting. Get rid of that. Platonic. Different types. Let's just try the first one. There we are. Let's try the second one. A cube. Wonder if that's got in the way. Let's do that again. Platonic cube. Oh, it made a cube. Let's try a platonic octahedron. There it is. Let's try a platonic cube octahedron. There you go. Cosahedron. Dodecahedron. And a cosadodecahedron. Okay, they're all platonics. Let's try a platonic solid tool. Click. There we are. That's what you get. Let's try bubbles. You must reference some points to perform this operation. Okay, I don't have any points, so a star sphere. This looks intense. 100-meter star sphere. And it's definitely doing something. You can tell because the layers up in the right here are increasing. And if you look really closely, you may not be able to see it, there are little white dots flashing on and off in the perspective view up here. You just can't do anything. It's obviously doing something. Now it's finished. It's made, let me just zoom out in perspective. It's made a sphere which we were inside of points. And all these points could be used, I guess, as a star backdrop. Now I have a whole bunch of points. If I click on bubbles, what? It's put a bubble on the points. Now obviously this is going to go over our 400 points in a layer limit. But there we go. It seems to still be doing it. Well, it's still going. So it's applying bubbles to every single point in that star sphere. And unfortunately for my machine, that's a little bit heavy. So doing this seems to jump it about. Right? There we go. I've got some movement back. There we are. So that's what bubbles done. And look what it's done. It's added tessellated spheres to every point. Well, that's one way to make a lot of bubbles. But now if I try and delete these, it's going to complain that there are too many points in the layer. So let's clear the layer. Close all objects. Don't save. Don't save. Boom. There we are. Back to start. What else can we make? Parametric object. Okay. What did we get? Looks like a sphere. With some of it missing. Okay. Let's try a different kind of parametric object. Let's try a rectangle. Same thing. Curve. Hello. That's a little different. Okay. Let's try none. Interesting. We seem to have a sphere of points. Let me go over here to more and plot 2D. Let's go with triangle. Oof. And that gave us this. Delete that. Plot 2D rectangle. Interesting. Gave us this. Plot 2D curve. Pretty. And one more, last one. None. And that just gave us points. A point cloud, which is obviously being created according to the equation up here. Now I know nothing about math, so I have no idea how to change that to make it better. So, that's primitives in Lightwave Modeler. I hope you've learned something, found it interesting. See you next time.